Am I the butthole for telling my family that if they want Thanksgiving, they'll have to get off their asses and plan it? Usually for Thanksgiving, we head out to go see family. Someone else always hosts. We typically help sponsor the host by paying for cleanup, etc. Our home is just too small to host the 30+ folks who typically show up through the day. This year that's obviously not happening. Other than us talking about not doing the usual, Thanksgiving didn't come up until yesterday. My kids have the week off from online school, and I was doing a puzzle with them before dinner when my husband walks in after work and says, "So did we get a turkey?" I looked at him and said, "Well, I know I didn't. Did you?" He stared at me blankly and said, "No." "What do you mean? Do we need to get one still? Is it being delivered?" I shrugged and said I don't know nothing about no turkey. The kids and he looked so confused, so I helped them along and said I didn't buy anything. I didn't plan anything. No one said anything to me about Thanksgiving. Nobody offered to help meal plan, cook anything, and do anything. He blew up yelling at me about how I should have obviously known. I said, "Why? I've literally never planned or made a Thanksgiving dinner in my life. The most I've ever done was help clean up or maybe peel the potato." I asked him why he didn't plan anything. Why didn't the kids plan anything? Why is everyone waiting until the last minute and dumping it on me? He just sputtered and yelled and stormed off to his office and left me with the kids. We all had dinner, the kids cleaned up, and I was relaxing with some wine and a book after they all went to bed. My husband tore into me about how he can't believe I left this all to the last minute. Now there will be no Thanksgiving. How could I be heartbroken to do this to the kids, etc. So I just looked at him and said, "Why didn't you plan? Why did you wait to the last minute to ask me?" He told me I was being a effing bitch for no reason and stomped off to go sleep in his office. He left without saying a word this morning. I followed up with my kids and asked them if they wanted Thanksgiving. They said they didn't care because the food isn't that good most of the time anyway. Before you ask, yup, I work as well. We split chores but there's no hard line. I do some, he does some. We both cook, and the oldest cooks as well. I just don't get why Thanksgiving is on my plate. Why, just because I'm a woman? Lamau F that. AITA? ETA, thanks for the judgments, all. A lot of people seem to think that my kids are like toddlers or something. They're old enough to help make the menu for dinners, help with cooking, etc. It's weird how many people came up with info here, like I was getting down on the floor playing rather than me and the kids sitting at the table doing a puzzle. Anyway, I told my husband that if he wants to do some traditional Thanksgiving with all the fattening, carby, salty, beige food, he can go ahead and plan it and I'll help in the same capacity as always. If he wants me and the kids to cook something together, aka a normal, average Thursday, I'll continue with what was scheduled. The kids genuinely do not care. Thanksgiving doesn't mean anything to them. One of them has been asking for us to stay home for years. One of them barely touches the food and the other one only likes to go so she can see her cousins, and she sees them all the time anyway. The middle kid already dug out another puzzle for us and they're just happy they're off school. Also, we don't do Christmas. Check your biases, folks. Don't leap to conclusions based on what you want to have happened. Heavy NTA. Also, the way you handled this conversation is absolutely how I would have. I laughed out loud at well I know I didn't. Did you? Also, you all live in the same house and share the same kitchen. I'm sure he would have noticed a turkey in the fridge if there was one. I'm sorry your husband has childlike temper tantrums. So, did we? The clarion call of a husband about to say something epically stupid. The clarion call. I laughed at this. Man, Reddit has been gold today. I can't remember the last time I laughed this much while using it. ETA, what the actual heck? This doesn't seem worthy of this many upvotes. My husband is, hey, did you remember too? 1000%, guaranteed to be something A, he never mentioned, and B, I'd have no earthly way of knowing about, much less remembering. Last time, hey, did you remember to let my mom know we're going to pick her up from therapy? Haha. Sure. Oh, by the way, since when is your mom in therapy? Brilliantly put. Lol, mine usually asks, so, did us? Questions when he can't tell if we actually had a particular interaction when he was sleepy or if he just dreamt it. It's usually a funny question in our household. My husband says that, but with chores that I did. The royal we vacuumed the house, you see. Oh, my husband pulled that crap today. The upstairs looks so much better after we shampooed the carpet. Mother effer, I didn't see you wrestling the bissel, please take several seats. Same. But with the Christmas tree. This is the nicest tree we've ever done. Eat a back of Dick's butthole, it took me a couple hours to do that crap by myself because you were busy. Holy crap, I'm going to stay single. Just try not to marry a boy. They're sneaky and pretend to be adults until crap like this happens. Thank you. I love this comment and how relevant it is for me this week in particular. Like, how can this grown spouse of mine defend dropping the ball on chores while simultaneously saying he would do anything in the world for me to show how much he cares? Appreciate the sentiment there, Romeo, but I'm not asking for the world, I'm asking you to clean up your 50% of the mess you created. And this, well, women are just better at stuff like that. I was never taught it's bullcrap. Seriously supposed to accept that a 7-year-old girl carrying the household chores for a family of 5 is better equipped to handle it than a 25-year-old who's had their own place for 4 to 5 years now? Rant over. Thank you for your comment, clearly it stuck something for me XD. I get so upset when I think about crap like this. There is no damn reason for a grown-ass man, who is a few years older than me, to be incompetent when it comes to certain chores. Or to be totally incapable of doing crap without being asked. There is no excuse. My partner is generally fine about this stuff, but the mental load is totally on me. I'm definitely the chore manager. Sure, he'll do chores when I remind him. Well, 85% of the chore. It's moments like this that make me really question crap. Honestly, your life will be better for it. Please take several seats, laughing my butt off, I love that one. Well, of course the royal we did the vacuuming, but when the laundry gets done, don't you know that he did it? Smiley face. My ex-husband would run to water the final flower when I planted a new border, or run to tighten the final screw when I was putting up shelves, so he could say that we did it. It'd be almost funny, if it weren't so pathetic. My current significant other is the opposite. When he does the whole garden, paints, fixes something, cooks, etc., he says we did it. When I do something, he gives me credit. My current significant other is the opposite. When he does the whole garden, paints, fixes something, cooks, etc., he says we did it. When I do something, he gives me credit. Yeah, I use we to deflect blame, not to steal credit. I could see myself asking, did we get a turkey? And meaning, did you get a turkey? I know I didn't, but using the word you feels accusatory if the answer is, as I suspect, no, and I have zero expectations and will have zero disappointment if the answer is no. That's clearly not the case with Op's husband though. There's a lot of who's we? In my household. Don't say we when you actually mean you. My husband has learned by now. My teenagers are still learning. I always thought the appropriate response to we statements was, you got a mouse in your pocket or something? My children thought the royal we was the name of the fairy that does all the housework. SMDH. Mom fail. My husband and I just had a talk about how, while he apparently planned out what day we were having the dinner, it was all internal and he never actually said it to me out loud. This happens a lot. I do this plenty. It gets especially funny when I ask someone if we had plans or not. Usually because I planned something, in my head, made a passing comment and assumed we were good up until I asked. Or it's a result of him being scatterbrained and genuinely not remembering something, usually those are so did we ever decide. I actually have kind of the opposite problem with my spouse. I come from a family where if you don't bring up plans every few weeks, they basically aren't happening. I don't know if it's a cultural thing or what, but for us, plans aren't plans unless you've checked on them 3 times at intervals to be sure they're still on. My spouse, on the other hand, is a very we said this once 6 months ago and agreed on it, we have not revisited the conversation, therefore all plans are still firm kind of person. This has led to some hilarious situations, like when I found out 10 minutes before our wedding ceremony started that they had taken some time to write some incredibly beautiful vows, because 9 months earlier we'd mentioned that we were going to write vows, while I had assumed that since we'd never mentioned those vows once during the wedding planning that we had decided to drop the idea. Luckily, I'm a teacher and did extemporaneous speaking in debate club, so I'm good at coming up with speeches on the fly. I acknowledge that this is very much Amy problem. The husband and I literally schedule everything in our phone so that neither of us forget things. We still definitely forget and vaguely remember, which is useful when we have a wedding in another state the next day and neither of us can remember what we have scheduled. We nearly missed the wedding of my ex-stepsister because we couldn't remember why I took a Friday off without plans. I'm useless unless things are written down, so I have a system. If you want me to do something, then send me an email. My partner and my boss are both on board with this. Coincidentally, partner and I are always booking time off at different times because apparently we have different ways of calculating things, like the third week of November. It's not a you problem, it's a hilarious romantic comedy in the making. Please write this film. On the other hand, if I were you, I'd start writing down the husband's suggestions and then do your confirmation at a later date. But, if it's your only problem, sounds like a good world to live in. Thank you for putting this in such perfect language. Brava. P.S. My husband hates the royal we unless he's using it. And even he laughed when I read that aloud. Anytime a man says we, he really means you. Or to a husband's in-laws, associates, kids, teachers, etc. We, verb, no, you effing did not do crap, you couldn't even explain what I did correctly, just stop. NTA. Jesus pleases, the stones on this man. Sounds like someone has some sexism jammed into that turkey where the stuffing ought to be, honestly. If it was a situation where you were a sup and did all or even most of the cooking, then it could have been a mild YTA. Per your post, I see that you share those duties, so you're morally well in the clear there, but telling your wife she's being a effing bitch for calmly asking why you weren't allowed to do the exact same thing he was doing, aka, nothing, and then literally stomping off to his room, good God. That sounds, to put it mildly, extremely unattractive in a life partner. Exactly. Good job on original post for just mirroring the questions back. You want one? Go buy the groceries, plan, discuss, something, anything other than assuming wifey is going to do it all because she's female. Please dude, stay in your office and the rest of the family can eat whatever that day. Doesn't sound like anyone else is butthurt about not having some goddamn turkey. Also, I bet original post would have helped has a conversation been had about doing a small-scale Thanksgiving, but no one brought it up. The husband expected original post to read his mind and got mad when she didn't. Honey, since we're not going to Grandma X's house this year, I was thinking we could order a small turkey, or maybe cook a chicken instead. What do you think? Whoa, slow down, that's way too sensible. No, he didn't expect her to read his mind, he expected her to know her place, the kitchen. Kids sound more mature than Op's husband, to be honest. Lol, right? Who cares, turkey's always dry anyways. This right here confuses the heck out of me. Why do some people, families keep on doing the same old in the name of tradition, when frankly it isn't all that good and no one particularly likes it anyway? Things like sticking rigidly to some secret family recipe, i.e., the B-Row cookbook, that was made up during the Depression when ingredients got subbed because the decent stuff wasn't available or was just too expensive. Or in the case of Southern Hemisphere countries, insisting on a full sit-down winter Christmas dinner when it's bloody hot outside and all anyone really wants is a barbecue and some salad? I'm all for following traditions that people actually enjoy, but I don't see why we shouldn't modify them if we don't enjoy them. Find new versions of the traditional favorites so they taste good. Or say to hell with it, and change the entire menu to what people actually want to have. And don't, for the love of God, desecrate some poor turkey's corpse by cooking it into dry inedible shoe leather. My dad and I had turkey every Christmas for 6 years after my mum died. Then we had a conversation. We've had filet steak for the last 20 years. Tradition, depriving you of decent food and giving you dry turkey until someone sticks their head above a parapet. We usually get a fancy steak from a local butcher for Thanksgiving because that's actually a treat, lol. My mom actually makes really good, moist turkey, but does so when it's on sale throughout the year. We are having fancy steak and loaded baked potatoes. By the time Dad spends $60 on peanut oil for frying plus the bird, steaks actually come out a bit cheaper and Mom won't have to stare at the turkey fryer and oil in the yard for months until he gets around to cleaning it up. Very true. My parents now do chicken wings for Christmas dinner. We have somewhere between 3 and 5 flavors and then whatever random sides my mom found on the internet to try this year. None of us like turkey that much, and ham doesn't get finished since no one likes it that much as dry leftovers. NTA. If he's so concerned about having Thanksgiving dinner, he can cook it or go buy a platter from somewhere. If you've never done it before, why would he just assume you would? He should have talked about it with you if that's what he wanted, so you guys could figure it out together. Literally all it is themed food. It's not like you canceled Christmas and you can eat box macaroni while being thankful for stuff. Well, he's going to be buying a platter, then, if he wants turkey. Unless he can track down a fresh bird 2 days before Thanksgiving, good freaking luck. It takes days to thaw a frozen turkey for cooking. General rule of thumb is 24 hours for every 5 pounds of bird. Plus getting a roasting pan, seasoning, butter, potatoes, sweet potatoes or yams, stuffing, etc. He has no clue the amount of work that goes into Thanksgiving dinner and all of the shopping prior. Of course he doesn't. Why would he know anything about women's work? It's okay, you don't need a /s on there. We know he's a douche nozzle. I'm just being careful. I've been attacked for obviously sarcastic statements before. This is why I get my spread from Boston Market. Heat and serve, baby. NTA, especially if you really played it cool like that and didn't get angry back. To me, the weird part is that it is not actually too late to plan a dinner. Even better is the awesome new family traditions you could invent. I heard a cool one recently I am jealous of: to buy every yummy frozen appetizer you see and cook them all. I've been eyeing this $15 Beecher's mac and cheese with no reason to splurge. Very true, it can still happen. Even without putting in the effort of cooking anything, lots of places cater Thanksgiving dinners. Our plans personally just got cancelled and all I'm doing is making a baked mac and cheese, haha. Or cool new traditions like divorce and only having to cook for and with your actual children. Edit. Thanks for my first award, kind internet stranger. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.